I think I'm not able to share my screen. There is no recording. Yep, I'm not able to share my screen. I think you have to give me permission. I
Hello.
think. Everyone.
Can others hear the screen? Uh, Apart from anyone else? Yeah, they can share the screen. Kuldeep, can you try joining as a guest?
Okay, let me try.
Kuldeep, or any other problem?
Basically, I'm on an application. It's
Okay, try from browser then.
Teams. Okay, let me try on browser.
Yeah, it's visible now. Kuldeep, unmute yourself.
It's visible now.
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah,
Okay,
you can continue.
so I'm starting from again. From so basically, the first step of the queue of these workers. So basically, uh, here we have loaded our configurations and we are running workers over here, so they can listen for the requests, so they can create new go routines for that particular requests. So as you can see, we have a first of all this function which loads the configuration for our queue system and workers. So basically, we are loading workers and queue. So and after loading workers and queue from environment variables, we are directly parsing those as a global variable into a global variable, so we can use these in different functions, which is used below for in workers. And after that, these functions basically, as I mentioned before, are basically listening for the requests to open or create a go routine to run that particular request. The next step, how we are getting that request into a particular format or in a request way on a queue system. So as you can see, we have a payload, and in this payload, we have a few parameters. First of all, the first one is the input, which is a job queue, and second one is a function. So basically, we have used uh, a single simply type, which basically we have a common type of functions for all the second layer of functions. As you can see, we the same parameters we are using for all the functions for our upload engine. So as you can see, context, QData, and JWT, and the rest of the parameters we have used are the parameters we are going to use for that particular function. So let me open this payload so you can have idea. So as you can see, we have a job queue, which is a type of interface. So we don't need a specific data type. We can directly accept any data type over here from resolvers. The second one is the function. So as I mentioned before, we have a common parameters used for our second functions. As if I share you with this, as you can see, for upload LGXL, we have context, QData, and JWT. And for others, if we check for upload employee patient Excel, we also have similar parameters. So that's why we have used this second this one second parameter in this and the values we are using in this in the functions. We have separate variables arguments for this as well, as which is a context and JWT. So after storing our inputs data and the rest we needed, we are directly passing this payload into job queue, which is a type of logic.payload, which is this, and we are directly parsing, or we are just directly queuing into this job queue, as you can see. And we have used
Yeah,
maximum queue size over here. So yeah, yeah,
yeah. Job queue is a buffer channel, right?
it's unbuffer.
No, you're actually already mentioning the size of the queue, so it's a buffer channel.
Okay, okay, okay. There's a size. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, this is
We have
how
yeah.
the
Yeah. So basically, if it gets full, then there is the request or the data. It won't fail if it try to exit from the data. Like someone, if it gets more than 100 requests at a time, so it won't fail. If we have unbuffered, then it will gonna fail for it. So as I already mentioned, new worker is directly creating the workers for that, so they can perform the operations. So the main functions after inserting our data in job queue or queuing, we have over here below. Basically, after getting, first of all, we directly run some for our loop. So we don't know how many requests we can get. So that's why we have to use. Then we have a select statement, which takes the data from job queue and then store in job. After getting this, we run a separate go routine, which sends the worker pools data into our work job queue, and then we directly after fetching, we directly add that job data into our work queue. So first of all, we are first fetching from the worker pool, and then after fetching the data or the queue, we are directly adding it into worker job queue, as you can see. And how we are running as the second layer of function, so it can directly run that Excel file in from backend. So basically, this is the function which is performing that action. So first of all, it have a go routine, and then a for loop. After that, we, uh, we are directly extracting the information from job queue, which is a type of worker, which is a struct. Uh, After getting it, we have a select operation, so it won't affect anything. Like if we have multiple things, so they can perform at the same time. Then we are extracting after adding, like we have added job queues data in this worker pool. After adding, we are getting that particular data from job uh, into this job. Like we have a case over here, so we can directly run our targeted function, because as you can see, job is a type of payload. After checking the condition, we are directly using the functions we have or the values we have used in our payload. The first one, directly we are running function over here, which you can see it's a type of context data and JWT. After it, we are directly providing the data we have in our job, which is type which is payload. The first one, context, job queue, and JWT ID. We are directly calling, so it can perform the action or the on that targeted function which we have passed from resolver. And after that, in another case, we are directly checking for the quit channel as well. As so you can see, we have worker struct, which is a type of int, so we can check how many which go routine is running, or on which ID. A job queue is a payload, which is a channel of payload. Worker pool, so that is a worker. Quit channel is a boolean, so we can quit from that particular go routine if it completes the request. And the last is a dispatcher. I already mentioned it. We also have a worker pool in over here, and the maximum workers, because it is the is mainly used struct, which is going to store the maximum workers, so we can directly over here over here we can use that, because we have ran this function on our server.go as well. So it can open the workers we needed, like 10 or whatever the value from the comes from env variables.
this is how the queuing works. So other than that, like the advantage of use implementing this was like there will be no sudden spikes in the CPU usage. So
Yeah,
the CPU less, and like if you want more output, like more throughput from our the existing server, so we can just increase the number of job workers. So that will
yeah.
increase the
Yep,
throughput
there
of
is the only
the.
thing we need to update is our queue and the workers, so we can handle the maximum requests.
Yeah, yeah. So it depends
It,
on like only two variables, like how we want to uh,
yeah.
process the Excel files. Only one of them is the number of jobs, uh, other is the number of queue. So yeah, I think we are pretty much good over here. And then I think Arpan can take over the other part of the like upload engine, like how the Excel files are processed, and like how it's being inserted into database, and like how the queue manager picks up the records and process them from like and does the work as
Okay.
Kulip, you can stop your sharing your screen then.
Okay, let me share my screen. So in upload engine, we have exactly five Excel files, like five functions from where we upload the Excels. So actually there are five Excel files which we upload here. So I'll just share this. Yeah. So first one is the employee patient Excel. So from here, I'll show you the Excel also. Yeah. So this is the Excel file which we upload for employee patient Excel. So for employee patient Excel, what we do is we actually insert a new patient into the database and we create their respective VIMS IR form. So what are the tables which are used here is first one is the employee patient Excel. This is the table where we insert all the data first. Then we have a cron function which process this data and insert the respective data into user permission user table. So how we do it, I'll just show you that. Let me just show you the code.
So yeah, just sorry for interruption. The main purpose of doing it in the like let in this way, like once the Excel files are being uploaded and other, and then and inserted into database, and then again reading from database, and then processing for further like further activities. So the main purpose was to like the user doesn't have to wait for the like failure or the success of the records. So just user can upload it, and then he can just he can do his other activities till the time like, and the Excel will be getting processed in the background as like same in the same way, like if you want to place an order in Flipkart, so you just place your order in the Flipkart, but it doesn't get success at the same time. So the orders are being processed later on, and you then get the email of your confirmation of the order is being placed. So this works in the same way. Arpan, you can continue.
Yes. So this is the function from where we upload the Excel. So the input parameters, as you can see, is here you can see that URL has been used. So this is the blob URL which we have to provide here. and then we process this URL and fetch the data and then insert it into the employee patient Excel table. Then after that, we go to the queue manager. So this is the queue manager. So in server file, you will find the function that is, let me just check. Yes, this one, execute bulk upload from Excel. So what we do here is that first we fetch all the data. As you can see, we are fetching all the data from employee patient Excel table. So we process this data which we have fetched and then we insert it into the user permission user table. So I'll just show you. So this is the employee patient Excel table. So here we insert all the data, the Excel data first, and then we process it and insert it into user permission user table. So let me just create a dummy data first. So I'm not just like, I'll be not explaining the conditions which are used here. You guys have to like go through the code.
Username, ASN only, not with.
Thank you for using Microsoft Sign-In Verification Tools. Your sign-in was successfully verified. Goodbye.
Yeah. So already signed. Okay, I'm unable to like edit the Excel. Why is it not?
Okay, I guess you can skip this part of
Okay.
scheduling.
Okay. Okay. So I'll show you here only. So what happens is that here all the data gets inserted and there's a success column as well as process remark column. So if something goes wrong, then we like insert a comment in the process remark column. And for every record, we insert a individual record in the table. And when we process also, we take each and every record and process individually into the user permission user table, one by one, not at a like not as a whole. So as you can see for this record, there's a process remark like guardian name cannot be blank for minors. So we have a condition here, like for minors. So we provide date of birth here. I'll show you this one. Yes, for date of birth, we have to provide guardian name. But here, since the Excel does not have the guardian name for this record, so it's throwing an error, and it's been stored in process remarks. So in this way, first we do some validation while we upload the Excel, and then we do certain other validation when we process the data, that is in the cron. So first of all, we upload it in that this employee patient Excel. Then I'll just show you the cron once. Mm, yeah. So first we fetch all these things, and then we process all the data from here. So there are certain conditions here, like first we check whether the CER is present or not, or if it present, then we will just update the data, or if there is nothing, then we will insert everything freshly. So in this way, we insert a data into the user permission user table. So I'll just show you this one. For this one, as you can see, we also insert EasyFacts ID, that is the user permission user tables ID. So if we go to user permission user, so this is the data which we have inserted via this Excel. So this is the user ID. So if I search this one has been inserted via Excel, right? So what we do, we first insert a data in user permission user table. Also, we insert this data in CER form table. Yes. So this one also gets inserted here. So there are certain conditions which are there, like in the cron services also, and we insert this in the form of JSON, like all the data from the Excel. We insert these in the CER form. So in this way, we actually upload a Excel file and we process the Excel files data. So we don't directly insert the data into the user permission user table. We first insert it into a separate table so that we can get a like we can track the data. Like if we are getting any errors or anything, then we can actually track the data, like what are the problems we are getting. And as Shupratik said that this is just for the queue system which we use, because when a user is going to upload the Excel, so he or she doesn't have to wait for long to see the response. So they can upload it, and from our side, we will just process the data accordingly. And then we will show them the data that yes, it has been processed. So that is the reason we are using these two different tables. Right. Now in this way, we have got like 5 types of Excels that gets uploaded in the upload engine. First one is, as I've told you, that employee patient Excel. Second one is the LGU upload, where we upload LGU in bulk. So this is the LGU table. And also one more thing, all these Excel, as you can see, all the Excels have been uploaded and processed into a particular table. So these are already there in the UI. And for that, in UI, what happens is that only single data gets inserted. And for Excel, we insert in a bulk. So for this LGU, when we insert LGU in bulk, we have to use this Excel. And if we have to insert LGU like in single, then you can use the UI functions or the UI endpoints which are there. So for LGU upload, we again upload the data and we stored it in LGU Excel table, Excel upload table, and then we process it through cron and then insert it into the LGU table. In similar way, others are also there. This is the vaccine site. So we can create vaccine site in bulk, and and employee staff also. So we can also insert like the stuff, EasyVac stuff in bulk. And last one is the OVT. So OVT was a new one, which we are still now working on OVT. The rest four is already there in production. So this is the new one. It's still not there in production, but it will be soon. Uh, okay. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a call. Okay. So I think you guys got the idea about how upload engine works. Like anyone has any question? Okay.
I think no one has question. Everyone understands how everything works.
Okay.
Okay, then I think pretty much good over here. So I think we can arrange another call, another creative session on any other things uh like the EasyVac system again in the next time. Okay, then I think we are good over here, so we can end the call.
Yeah.
So thank you.